Hello everybody and guys! Welcome to the final tier list. Not final tier list. Actually, the final tier list for albums. Let's say that. The final tier list for albums. We are here. It's finally happening. The long wait is over. Sum 41's final album, Heaven and Hell, is released. And we are going to be ranking all of the albums plus Half Hour Power here today. By the time you watch this, it's Easter, so happy Easter to everybody that's watching this on Easter. If you watch this after, well, I hope you all had I would say terrible. That's not true. I don't want you guys to have a terrible. I want you to have a great Easter. I hope you all had a great Easter. If you guys watch this after Easter, but we are here today to rank Sum 41's albums. Start with Half Hour of Power, and to start this off, we are going to start with Half Hour of Power, speaking of which. So, Half Hour of Power. Sum 41's, to some, debut album, to some, it's just a, how do you say, demo. On Spotify, it is listed as a album, but it is technically considered a demo. Even by the band, but regardless of that fact, we're gonna do it here. We're gonna start with it here today. So, Half Hour Power. What do I think about it? I think it did what it was supposed to do. It got the band out there. It got them, what's the word I'm looking for? It got them notoriety out there. We got them on the chart. I got them out there. Songs that I like, or What I Believe, Makes No Difference, in Summer. But that's about it. Songs like Ride the Chariot to the Devil, Machine Gun, 32 Ways to Die. I haven't listened to them in years. So I can't say that. I can't really give an opinion on this album. Performance songs I do like. They are good. A little rough, especially Summer. If y'all remember Summer on Half Hour Power, actually makes a return on the next album, I'll Kill the Feel. But Summer on Half Hour Power, which is why it's considered a demo. I don't want to say Spotify, but whatever. But Half Hour Power, Summer, the song. You can tell it's very rushed. I would say rushed, but it just feels rushed. It just feels very rough because Summer cuts off, and then it picks up in the next track, 32 Ways to Die. When in I'll Kill the Filler, the Summer track just completely plays through. But here it gets cut off and starts on the next track, which is kind of weird. So, unfortunately, I guess Half Hour Power, for what it's done, it's a D. And I'm not giving a D because it's not technically an album. If we're going to rank it as an album, I would say we're ranking this as it is on Spotify, which is an album. And I can't say that, it does a very good job. Like I said, What I Believe, Summer, makes a difference to me. The songs I love on the album. The other songs I'm just not really into. Grab the Devil by the Horns and Fuck Him Up the Ass is a very funny title. And the song and the instrumental music that goes behind the song is fucking awesome. But again, that's adding one song to 3 songs. So we're gonna have to give it a D, unfortunately. All Killer, No Filler. Now, when I first saw this album, I was not a big fan of it, but as time went on, I actually ended up liking the album more and more. Here's songs like Motivation, Fat Lip, Summer Again, In Too Deep, Handle This, Crazy Amanda Bunkface, All She's Got, and Heart Attack. These songs are fucking amazing. And I do dare say myself, classic Sum 41 songs. Now, what about the other songs? Well, the other songs, to me, just they don't fit my type of music. And that's the thing I notice about a lot of the Sum 41 albums. Some songs, they just aren't my cup of tea. Um, so I can't say there's no. Well, there is one album that's a no skip album, and you'll see that in a second. But I digress, though. This the album itself is a very good album, and I have to say, when you think back on Sum 41, these, you think of songs like Fat Lip, and Motivation. You think of those songs. Again, Summer was improved on this album track. It plays after the song. It's not cut off. So I think, again, I grew to like this album. Like I said, at first I didn't like this album, but I grew to like more of the songs over time. And I have to say, I think it deserves an A. Now, the next album is Does This Look Infected? And this album, out of all the albums that I could like, this is probably my second favorite album. Actually, no. Actually, yeah, it's my second favorite album. There's a three-way tie for first album that I like, but this is probably my second favorite album of Sum 41. And you have songs like Hell Song, Over My Head, Better Off Dead, Still Waiting, No Brains, All Messed Up, and Hyper Insomnia Para Conjoined. These songs are amazing. And Thanks for Nothing. These songs are great songs. And honestly, there's only two songs I really don't like on this album. Well, three. Actually, four if you count Hooch. But there's Billy Spleen, Mr. Amsterdam, and My Direction. These songs, to me, they fall flat. They feel repetitive and kind of generic sounding to me at least. But again, take that with it's my opinion. And you can leave it in the comments below how well my opinion is on these songs. But I just personally like them. And same with ANIC. Just that song's for me. But I think songs like Hell Song, Still Waiting is a banger. And I think is one of the best Sum 41 songs, if not the second best Sum 41 song. The first Sum 41 song I'll get to later, but all these songs are great on the album. So I think it gets an S tier. Next up is Chuck. And before I go on with Chuck, can we just say it's an S tier? I'm not even going to delay it any longer. It's an S tier. I'm not gonna go through a whole list of why it's awesome. Songs like No Reason, We All to Blame, Angels with Dirty Faces, Some Say, Open Your Eyes, Slipping Away, I'm Not the One, Paces, There's a Solution, and Newts. All are great songs. Great songs. They are dark. They are heavy. They are a mix between metal and pop punk, like a punk rock metal sound. I know Sum 41 did the metal punk thing and still doesn't look infected, but I think they pull it off here with Chuck. The songs on this album are amazing. Chuck is probably my second favorite album. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. I just said that for. I'm sorry, I just contradicted myself. It's tied for first with two other albums we will get here shortly, but Chuck is tied for first with two other albums. Like I said, Does This Look Infected is my second favorite album, but Chuck is one of my first favorite albums with Sum 41. And I think, again, what helps it is that it's a darker, more angrier sounding tone to it. Even more than Does This Look Infected. And it really works for the band here. In the screaming on, say, We're All to Blame, and oh my god, the way Derek like deepens his voice and screams out the lyrics on I'm Not the One. It really captivates me. I'm Not the One is one of my most favorite Sum 41 songs. In fact, I think it has to be my second favorite, along with Still Waiting. Um, but it's one of the best songs that Sum 41 has ever put out, and Chuck deserves the S tier. He deserves S, and I'm not gonna elaborate anymore on it. The darker tone, the metal like punk sound is amazing. Is like so refined in this album. It's so good here, and it deserves an S. Next up, everyone's kind of one of the least favorite albums, Underclass Hero. And I'm gonna have a very different opinion on this one. I think it's an S tier, and above Chuck. This album has my most favorite song by Sum 41, Walking Disaster. And I think this is the only album of Sum 41 that is a no skip album. I said it. It's a no skip album. All the songs on this album: Underclass Hero, Walking Disaster, Speak of the Devil, Dear Father, Count Your Last Blessings, Malputa Bell, March of the Dogs, The Jester, With Me, Pull the Curtain, King of Contradiction, Best of Me, Confusion and Frustration in Modern Times, and So Long Goodbye. They're all great songs. I love them. This is what All Killer No Filler. As the band, this is where the band should have gone after All Killer No Filler, and I think it's true. The band has matured. You know, it still holds that more depressing kind of darker undertone, but it puts it with pop punk sounds rather than a metal punk sound. And I think if you look at it, through the eyes of, it's a more mature version of what they did with All Kill No Filler and even Half Hour Power. I think this album really is really, I would say, elevated, to my opinion, to an S tier. Like I said, Walking Zest is a great song, and there's even a cut song, well, not a cut song, but a from the studio sessions with this album. There's a song that was on Heaven and Hell. Johnny Libertin, I believe it's called. I'll get the name later. When I go to Heaven and Hell, but it was first conceived during this era in 2007. And I think this album was very pivotal for the band. I think it's a direction that they had to go. I think they should have gone, and it shows to me that they were still able to kind of keep the theme of the music, but kind of expand their sound out. I think it deserves an S tier. Now, Screaming Bloody Murder. I think Screaming Bloody Murder is an okay album. It's not the best stuff. It's not the darkest stuff. It's not the worst stuff, I should say. Again, this is the album that made Dave Bassett come back. He said when he heard this album, he knew he never should have left the band. Again, songs like the title track, Screaming Bloody Murder, Sick of Everyone, Holy Image of Lies, Baby You Don't Want to Know, and Back Where I Belong are all great songs. Just Like a Kill, Reason to Believe, and even Holy Image of Lies. Like, I had Holy Image of Lies in my playlist, and I think I removed it because I got sick of it. This album, it's even blowing my eyes. To me, it's a good album, but it's not a more memorable album. Like I said, they have good songs, but it's not a memorable album. Like, you don't think Screaming Bloody Murder, And even the band kind of forgets about it because they only really play one song off of it, which is the title track, "Screaming Bloody Murder." So I have to say, I think, but compared to the next album after this one, I think it deserves a B. Now, 13 Voices, Sum 41's comeback album, and I gotta say, I was very disappointed in this album. I was. The good songs, the most standout songs are "Goddamn and Dead Again," "Fake My Own Death," "Breaking the Chain," and "God Save Us All, Death to Pop." Songs like "War," "13 Voices," "The Fallen Rise," "Twisted by Design," and "Murder," because they're not memorable songs. And to me, they're just not. They're not good songs in general. Like you can see why songs like "Fake My Own Death," "Goddamn and Get It In," and "God Save Us All, Death to Pop" were singles. "War," I don't know why that was made a single. I think "Breaking the Chain" would have been better. But even then, "Breaking the Chain," I usually kind of skip over that song because I think it's kind of repetitive after a while. So, yeah. It was a good album to come back on. I actually do have the album cover as like a t-shirt. It's just minus the little like banner that says 13 Voices. It's just a cross in the Sum 41. So, yeah. But the album itself though is just kind of it was gonna have they actually recorded that song I was talking about, Johnny Libertin, for this album, and then they never made it. Which, and again, they wouldn't have sounded right on this album because again it was more metal inspired album. But yeah, it to me it's just not that good of an album. It was a good comeback album at the time, but once everything kind of wore off, it just kind of went eh. So it gets to C. Order in Decline. I remember when Alpha Blood came out, I was in my last year of high school. And oh my god, I was banging to this song, bro. Not like that, but like I was rocking out. Alpha Blood, Death in the Family, 45 A Matter of Time, which is a song about a certain president at the time of the album's release, but I'm not going to get into that because that is for a different time to talk about my politics. Eat You Alive, Never There, Catching Fire, New Sensation, Turning Away. They're all good songs. Heads Will Roll, People versus okay songs. They felt kind of repetitive to me, but I think though overall, Order in Decline was a very good album. It was probably the best album since The Class Hero, in my opinion, and until Heaven and Hell. But you know, I digress. The I think at the time, you know, and to be fair, even at the time, I think I was just leaving high school. I think I just started college. So I was like my first couple of weeks into college when this album came out. So Book 182's 9. Um, you know, this album, it was just so good. You know, you kind of don't remember it because they didn't get like the tour with it. COVID happened like right after it. So like, and kind of like 9. It's just kind of like forgotten, kind of like Same Bloody Murder, but somehow like you know, but somehow just even just a little bit more than Scream Bloody Murder, because Scream Bloody Murder actually came out at a time when there wasn't no COVID, you know, and this happened like this came out like right before COVID, so like people kind of forgot that this album kind of was released, in my opinion, you know. And they didn't really get to tour with it. They did Hellfest with it, with Alpha Blood and Death in the Family, but other than that, they didn't really get to do big shows with it. So like you kind of just were like, oh yeah, it came out so far. It was a good album, but yeah, I think it's an A. I really do think it's an A, and possibly above. I'll kill no filler, but I'm not gonna talk about that. And finally, the last album, Heaven and Hell. This is the best album. Oh, second best actually, behind All Kill, behind not All Kill, but behind Underclass Hero. Heaven and Hell. When I first heard that they were breaking up, I was sad. I got fucking see them live actually, so yeah, because I'll die with the if I don't see them live. But let's start with the album itself. It's a dual album. It has two sides: Heaven, a more pop punk side, and Hell, a more metal side. So, and we're not gonna split them up into like two albums or judge each. We're gonna give a full album review here. The Heaven side is amazing. Absolutely great. Landmines, I can't wait. Time won't wait. Dopamine, not quite myself. Bad mistake. I said big. Johnny Libertine. Again, this is a song that was conceived in Underclass Hero, and then was recorded in 2016 for 13 Voices, and then finally was released now in 2024. So there's that song, Radio Silence. They are all great songs. Where was the Fate? I think I missed that one, but yeah, I said that. I don't know. But these are all great songs. The Heaven side is amazing. It's probably it's the strongest side on the album. I'd say it. I know people like the metals thing, but I think the pop punk sound of Sum 41 is the strongest suit here. It really feels that like it's them saying farewell to us on this side of the album, on the Heaven side. It's them saying farewell. Farewell. We had fun. We're glad you all came along for the ride with us. Thank you, but it's time for us to end it. That's what I feel. That's what I feel that this side tells me, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it tells it in a way that is very well done, and I think when it comes down to it, these songs are good, like goodbye. They're good farewell songs. You know, I get very emotional listening to songs like Dopamine and Radio Silence, and even songs like you know like Not Quite Myself. You know, and Time Won't Wait too. And I Can't Wait. Actually, all the songs on the side. Except for I think the weakest song on the side is Future Primitive, but all the other songs though, I feel emotional when I listen to them. It gets me down, but it also makes me feel like it's gonna be okay. Sum 41, they're moving on. It's sad, but it's just something that's naturally had to happen. Now the Hell side is probably the weakest side. So the songs I like are Rise Up, Stranger in These Times, You Want It War, and It's All Me. I don't need one is I'm still up in the air. Maybe I need some more time to listen to it. Maybe I'll add it later. Maybe I won't. But songs like Over the Edge, House of Liars, How It Ends, how the end begins. They're not songs that like to me that sound again. They sound repetitive. The Metals album's not as good as the metal sound that they had in Order Decline. It somehow sounded worse than Order Decline. Like the metal side of this sounded worse than Order Decline. But they still had some good metal songs again, like Rise Up and It's All Me, and they still had good songs. They also have on this side a cover of Painted Black, which I think is fucking dope. Who remembers the Black Ops 3 trailer when they had that, So, yeah. Back in 2015. So, I think that was funny. I think it's fucking cool, honestly, that they have it. But it's not a thing I'm going to put in my album, in my playlist, because it's... I wasn't big... because it's not something I really want in my playlist. You know, like I don't know. Like I like the song, but like I even like the original song, but I said something I put in my playlist. But I think besides that, Rise Up, Stranger in These Times, You Want It or It's All Me, I think it holds up this side enough to actually elevate with the Heaven side, which I think is the best part of this album, the Heaven side, to an S tier. Again, I don't think it's as good as Underclass Heroes, but I think it's the second best album. Actually, no, it's probably the best album. Actually, it's one of the best albums. It's again, so I don't know why I keep contradicting myself, but these three albums, Underclass Heroes, Heaven and Hell, Sum 41, Chuck are the top three albums of Sum 41. They're my number one albums. It's a three-way tie for first place for my favorite Sum 41, and these are the three. Does This Look Infected is second place. Or Decline is probably third. Fourth is All Kill the Film, and then again the rankings here. But this has been my album ranking of Sum 41's albums, including Heaven and Hell. I kind of rushed this one out a little bit without giving it some time to listen more to Heaven and Hell. But I wanted to rush this video out because they released, and I wanted to get this video up on Easter because I thought this would be a nice little Easter video actually. But yeah. Also, I forgot to say I'm like 4 drinks deep while recording this. All the other ones would have maybe been like 3 or 1. I don't remember. It was a while ago, but I definitely was not 4 drinks deep when I was recording them. So yeah, I recorded some 4 drinks deep. So yeah. Anyway, before I out myself and incriminate myself even further, I'm gonna end the video here, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this album ranking. Like I said, if you guys have any discrepancies or any opinions that you guys want to share, like I'm an idiot, I don't know anything about Real Sum 41, I'm not a Real Sum 41 fan, we have Heaven and Hell, and Underclass Hero, and Chuck all in the same S tier list. But hey, you know what? Fuck you guys. It's my channel, and this is my opinion, and I like the albums I like, so fuck you. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next video, guys. Peace.